What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Toxic Gaming. Today I'm bringing you a brand new 3 deck profile video, the 3-in-1 video. So you're getting 3 whole deck profiles of all 3 Elemental Hero decks I've been messing around with, playing around with. Of course, the format hasn't started yet. There's a lot of really cool and unique ways that you can build each and every individual deck. So if you have any ideas for any of the decks that I show you or any ideas of your own build, let me know in the comment section down below. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into this deck profile now. This is going to be the Elemental Hero normal monster deck that is based around fusion summoning monsters out from your extra deck. I felt like this build here was probably going to be one of the better ones that we were going to see whenever it came down to these normal monsters, because there's not a very high ceiling for this deck, so we actually had to go and, like, you know, bust out some old cards from some other old decks. But without further ado, we're playing 2 of each of the normal monsters, 2 Avian, Burstinatrix, Clayman, and Sparkman. These are because they're fusion materials, so that's the biggest reason why they're in the deck at 2. The other card here is Elemental Hero Bubbleman. Now this card is just, you know, nice to have because it's one of the fusion materials in our extra deck, but not only that, it's also could be a potential draw to or special summon of a monster, so that's really nice. Rottweiler is great in this deck because whenever it's destroyed by battle, you can actually add an Elemental Hero monster and a Polymerization in your graveyard back to your hand. That way you can fusion summon later if you so need to. Cosmic Cyclone's in the deck as a quick play spell to get rid of those pesky spell and trap cards, aka Zoma. And then Order to Charge is also in this deck in case you can't get to your polymerizations, or you can't, you know, or you've used your skill, don't have a polymerization. You can use the Order to Charges to pop your normal monsters to get rid of pesky monster cards. Playing double polymerization into the deck, you can play 3 if you want. 1 Reinforcements of the Army, you can play as many of this as you want, but I made room for the Common Charity in here. That way we had that normal monster draw. This is kind of like a Lure of Darkness as a trap card, but works for normal monsters. So I wanted to make sure I at least had this card at 1 sitting in this deck. That way we can make the deck a little bit more consistent with draw power. Lastly, we're playing double Skyscraper, and this card is insane for the deck because it's going to make each and every one of our Elemental Heroes into a miniature boss monster. So that is very, very nice. Going into our extra deck, we're playing 2 Flame Wingman. You know, main boss monster of the deck. We're going to be wanting to bring him out as much as possible. We also played 2 Thunder Giant. Arguably, these are like the best Elemental Heroes that take normal monsters released so far, so that's why they're both at 2. Thunder Giant just destroys once per turn a monster on the field with less attack than it. Flame Wingman does effect damage when it destroys monsters by battle. The other 2 aren't that great, but they're in here just in case we need them. Like Rampart Blaster can attack while in defense mode, but its attack is halved whenever it declares an attack. And Steam Healer heals your life points if it destroys a monster by battle. Kind of like the opposite of Flame Wingman, Steam Healer heals you. Now, you're probably wondering what skills we're going to use. Now, for this deck, I think the best skill to use is Fusion Party. But if you don't know what Fusion Party is, it's literally just polymerization as a skill for no cost. Like, you just fusion summon. And then there's Palomization. Now this is a skill that came out like one of Joey's original skills, and it just makes a normal monster you control into any material you need it to be. So if you get the Poly 2 hand, you can turn any of these cards into the material you need for any of your other monsters. So for example, say you have Avian and Clayman, you can turn this Clayman into a Burstinatrix and then have Flame Wingman. Avian and Clayman, same example. You can turn that Avian into a Sparkman and you get Thunder Giant. And then, like, for example, Clayman and an Avian. You turn this Avian into a Burstinatrix, you get Rampart Blaster. And then lastly is Burstinatrix and Clayman. You can turn that Clayman into a Bubbleman, and then that will turn into the Steam Healer. So this is definitely one of those cards that you should be looking at when building any of your fusion decks right now, especially if they use normal monsters like the Elemental Hero deck does. So these are both the skills that you could use for playing this deck in particular. We're moving on to the next deck, and the next deck here is the Blade Edge Turbo deck. This deck is just about bringing out your Elemental Hero Blade Edge as fast as possible. I think he's probably your strongest Elemental Hero, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be playing him in your deck. But we're playing Triple Breaker the Magic Warrior. That way we can clear pesky spell and trap cards like the opponent's Zomas. We play 1 singular copy of Dasher. This is a Foolish Burial target because we're playing Foolish in this deck at 3. You can actually banish the Dasher from graveyard if you draw the Blade Edge, and then summon the Blade Edge without targeting, which is nuts. Blade Edge is in here at 3 because he's our main boss monster, and then we're actually playing double Necroshade. Now you can either play 1 Necroshade, 2 Dasher, 2 Necroshade, 1 Dasher, but I feel like this is like the best target that you can really be using for the deck. Triple Book of Moon, that way you can have your spell trap protection for your monster, Cosmic Cyclone again to get rid of the spell and trap cards, and then we play, like I said, triple Foolish Burial. This is so we can send the Dashers and Necroshades to the graveyard. That way we can tune out the Blade Edge a little bit faster, and if they're in our hand, we play the 1 Tribute to the Doomed. You can put the Foolish Burial at 2 if you want to, but I haven't really tested this one too much. So playing it at 3 seems a little clunky, but could also be very good depending on the situation. Zone of Spirit is also played at 3 in this deck. This card is still going to be one of the strongest cards in Speed Duels. There will be no doubt about that, so I would recommend playing it in most of your decks at 3. The skill that you can use here is you can either use the Beatdown skill, which gives all monsters you control 300 attack for each level 5 or higher monster you control once per turn. So if you have 2 Blade Edges, all monsters on your field will gain 300 or 600 attack. If you have 1 Blade Edge, all monsters in your field will gain 300 attack. It's really good in the aspect of not only is it not once per duel, but it is once per turn, and as long as you keep controlling this guy with other cards, they're all going to get boosted. The other card that we play is Here Goes Something. This is the one I recommend for the skill or the deck we built here. It says once per duel, you can activate this skill at the start of your battle phase while you control exactly 1 Elemental Hero monster. For the rest of this turn, that one monster gains 800 attack while battling an opponent's monster and can attack all monsters your opponent control once these. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn. So you just, special summon out the Blade Edge with your Necroshades and your Dashers. Blade Edge gains 800 attack, making it a 3400 beater that can attack every monster on the field, and it's very good. That's why we're playing the Cosmic Cyclones in here, because that's going to be able to clear the Book of Moons before we set up the Blade Edge. And I think that's going to be really, really good for this deck. Moving on to the last deck that I have for the day, it's actually going to be the Plasma Vice Turbo deck. This deck is really neat and unique. I think it's like I got the idea for this because I was watching Cursive and Tetramaster going over their Destiny End Dragoon deck, and I thought that deck was really cool, and I was like, I could probably do the same with Plasma Vice, because this is probably my favorite hero fusion we got out of everything. I think it's the strongest one too. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into this profile. We're playing 3 Breaker the Magical Warrior and 3 Sphere Crew for our Allure of Darkness targets. We play 3 Blade Edge and 3 Sparkman as our fusion material target, because we're trying to tune out the Plasma Vice as fast as possible. 3 Allure of Darkness, 3 Book of Moon, and 2 Cosmic Cyclone. Now, the other thing I would say is probably you should play Poly. But I'm not sure what I want to play it at. I don't know if I want to play it at 1. I don't know if I want to play it at 2. And the reason why is because our skilled Fusion Party. Like, once per duel, you get to fusion summon the Blade Edge and the Sparkman, and you get to bring out Plasma Vice. Now, that's only once per duel. And like I said, I don't know if I want to play this at 1, 0, 2. Like, it is supposed to be tuning him out as fast as possible. So maybe like 1 or 2 is fine. That way you can, use it. But that's completely up to you as the player. Whatever you want to do there is fine. Plasma Vice, Fusion Party, like I said, the skill is to bring out Plasma Vice a lot faster. If you don't know what Plasma Vice does, it's like Blade Edge, it pierces damage. But also, it has this cool skill here that says you can discard 1 card to target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls and destroy that target. That's not once per duel, once per turn. It's like the XYZ Dragon Cannon. As long as you have cards in your hand to discard, you can keep doing this. So it's very, very cool to try to get this guy out as fast as possible. But yeah, if you guys like this type of content, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and of course, make sure you leave a comment if you have any suggestions for either of these decks. But I want to get you out 3 deck profiles, these 3 deck profile videos every day up until the lead up to the box. So we're going to go over, I think, 5 decks in total. I don't know which 2 I'm going to, or which 3 I'm going to leave out. I might end up just doing 2 videos a day for a couple of the days this week. But we're going to do, 5 days a week. We're going to be posting videos this week. So hopefully you all are excited. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye. Just kidding, I still have to go over this one last thing. Odd Talks and Gaming is a brand new Facebook group that's online. It's going to be in the description down below if you want to check it out. This is in celebration of my 150. I decided to make a entire Facebook group based around it. You get updates for every single video as they come out. You get updates on arts, updates on recordings, cards of the day. I released screenshots of every skill the second that they came out. The video showcasing all of the cards that came out with this skills, and yeah, like I said, I update everybody on stuff with videos every single day. So if you want to join this and be updated with the channel, I highly recommend it. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.